This is the Variety Show 2024. I'm a big fan of watching atheist intellectual internet shows like Atheist Experience, Heathen Talk, The Line, very interesting programming on the internet of these atheist shows where they take calls from all over the world, and anybody's welcome to call, and not just Christians. Anybody's welcome to call, including fellow atheists, theists, Muslims, um, uh, any religion, Mormons, and they present evidence for why they believe what they believe, present evidence for a God, provide evidence for why they believe, and these are very good shows, interesting programs. Some of the calls are hilarious because they just, end up making fun of them, and they swear back and forth sometimes, but it's very good shows because they welcome all to call. They're always willing to talk, and whatever evidence you have to convince the hosts. Some of them are former Christians that used to be Christians, and now they're atheists that work on these programs. So I really like watching these shows, and myself am Catholic, and I do believe in Christianity as a Catholic, um, and um, and I have never called into Atheist Experience or any of these shows. But if I were to call into these programs um, and present evidence for a God, or for heaven, or the Bible being the truth, I would just say that there is that the atheists, they make some strong arguments, I would say, and I would say that there is no perfect evidence, and they're right to say that we take it by faith. So faith is the key. We do take it by faith, and they are correct that there's no perfect evidence for something that's invisible. But I would say that the strongest evidence is within yourself, because to know that the desire is there, that there's something beyond death, and if that in itself is the strongest evidence that there is, that to know that death is not can't be the end, because it's within yourself to desire something past death, so that you know that death has to be some kind of a door to some other dimension, hopefully a good one, and so it's within yourself, because God or the supernatural is not in a building, a brick and mortar church, not in a book, the Bible, or other, or the Quran, or other holy books. It's not in a book or a building. It's within yourself to know, and that is the strongest evidence, and it is by faith. And by faith means there's no perfect evidence. There's no 100% evidence. Meaning we're always going to have atheists. There's no point that atheists become extinct unless we come into the second coming of Christ, and you just see him, and then they have to make a decision. But short of that, I don't see how atheists become extinct other than the second coming of Christ. And as far as evidence, I think it's easier to say evidence for a place, a heaven, rather than to prove the being a God, whether it's the Christian God, the Trinity, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, or any other God. I think it's easier to just know that there's a heaven, is an easier a place is easier to prove than the being a God. Just like that Hawaii is a place, California is a place, Australia is a place. Somehow there's a heaven being a place. There has to be a good place called a heaven for those that make it into the pearly gates, and the proof of that is that the desire is there, that I don't think anybody wants to die, and if death were to come, let's say someone has a situation where death is imminent and they know they're going to die, then somehow they know they're traveling somewhere. They're going to go somewhere. They're not going to go nowhere. So that in itself is somewhat proof of a heaven, proof of a heaven, proof of a place that you go to. Now, to prove that there's a God there in that heaven that's harder. That's a tougher one. But as far as heaven being a place, I think that's probably the easiest thing to prove. So I think if I were to call into atheist experience and talk to some of these folks that are atheist agnostics, I think that'd be the argument I would try to put, but they probably wouldn't accept it, because they are skeptical of everything. But I don't think they would start swearing at me or making fun of me. I think they would take my argument seriously, but I don't think they wouldn't accept it. So you can leave me your comments on this variety show 2024.